someone who grew up in the bush, I can generally handle the wildlife here in Australia. I'm okay with snakes and creepy crawly spiders as long as they keep to themselves. But the idea of a swooping bird induces a fear like no other. Turns out I have had the perfect opportunity to conquer that fear with a bit of exposure therapy. Ow! We have a family of butcher birds nesting in the park behind our house. There is a line you can cross in our backyard that activates their murder beaks. Unfortunately, this line is exactly where my vegetable garden is, and thank the stars that I have irrigation in place and I only have to venture out there to fill the wicking beds and do a hurried harvest. I do, however, regret putting my potato bags out here as I've been a little bit too afraid to come out and heal them up. But surprisingly, they are doing well with very minimal input from me. It will be a forced experiment on whether to heal or not to heal. So let's do a bit of a tour of what's growing here in our garden in southeast Queensland, Australia in late spring, October. The bed we planted back in July is still producing. We've harvested a second run of broccoli, harvesting the side shoots, which has produced way more than the original heads. I've left the peas go to seed. I will harvest them for replanting next year. And I'm also letting some of the radish go to seed as well, as I was running low on some of those seeds. The beets are doing really well, as are the carrots. We've harvested a run of baby carrots. And we are up to our third run of lettuce here, but I won't be planting any more this month as I will be using this bed to plant out for November. Our August bed is charging along. I've harvested loads of pak choi out of here as well as a lot of lettuce. We have just started getting zucchinis. Beans have been going strong for a few weeks now and we should be getting cucumbers soon. I do harvest from this Swiss chard every other day. The bed I planted out in September with tomatoes is doing well. I've just been pinching off the leaders of the tomatoes to keep them on that one branch. I did have one that started to wilt. I don't mess around with wilting tomatoes. They come out right away, especially if the soil is moist. I risked planting another one in its spot, but I just made sure to remove the entire root ball and the soil around the wilting tomato. The new one seems to be doing okay so far. The kale, basil, the Forthook giant are all going well. All the lettuce seed that I sprinkled in is popping up. The beans on the arch are going well as well, but the cucumber is not. It was a very old seed, so it could be the reason, but I'm not sure. I have had problems with root knot nematode in this bed in the past, so I might have to cut my losses on this one. Something ate all of my corn seeds in the bed that I planted in September, well, most of them. I thought at first that perhaps I was overwatering, but I did dig down and I found a lot of the seed had actually been eaten. So normally if they rot or fail to germinate, there will be no remnant of the seed, but there were husks. So it made me think that they were getting eaten by something before they had a chance to germinate. I'm going to have to replant this bed, which is a little bit frustrating as we're now a month behind with the corn, but that's how it is sometimes. At least the brown romaine lettuce is looking good and I'll have to harvest those soon, otherwise they're just going to bolt to seed with this heat. This bed is finished. I could have cleared it out last month, but I was kind of waiting for these pak choi seeds to dry off and I wanted to get some seed from my daikon radish, but unfortunately something has been eating the pots, so there's not really enough to save. This bed I'm going to rest over summer with a cover crop. I have this warm season mix, which is a combination of mung bean, millet and buckwheat, and I'll be inoculating it with some rhizobia. I have put together packs on my website of this seed combination with the inoculant, so you can grab it from my website. I'll be letting this cover crop grow for around 6 to 8 weeks, and just before the flowers, I will knock it down and cover it with black plastic for a couple of weeks to kill it off, and then I'll top it up with some compost and plant in my autumn crops. The sweet potatoes have been coming to life in this bed. It is where I will be growing sweet potatoes anyway, but I think I will end up harvesting what's here and putting in my new slips at the end of the month. This bed here I planted back in June, and the purple potted peas are ready to harvest. These are actually better as dried peas as they are very starchy, so it's likely I will use them as a soup pea. I did harvest my beets in here and we mostly ate them fresh. I did make some roasted beetroot hummus, which was delicious. I am just waiting on these cauliflower seeds to finish up, and this will become my second sweet potato bed. In this bed we have our eggplant, and I'm still waiting for these cabbages to finish up. They take so long, but they are finally starting to form. I have been harvesting loads of eggplant every few days from here, which I'm pretty happy with. I said goodbye to the straw bale garden and I've put in a new raised garden bed. This will be what I plant out this month. This bed will obviously drop a lot as the base is filled with the straw bale sugarcane mulch. So I should have overfilled it, but we'll see how it goes. I'll post a separate video of everything I plant in the next week so you can see what I'm planting in October. I also finished setting up the wicking bed, and I've planted this as a biennial bed. In here I've got some strawberries, capsicums, and also the watermelon. I have also gone and set up my autopot hydroponics for capsicum in the greenhouse. The autopot system is a really great starting point if you want to get into hydroponics. All you have to do is fill the reservoir up with water and nutrients, and it has a valve that automatically tops up the water trays. It doesn't require any electricity, and I don't bother doing any nutrient monitoring. I just gauge how much the plants need each week and I top up the nutrients that way. I haven't delved too much in the world of hydroponics, but I would like to get some more going, especially over the hot months. The bed I experimented with planting warm season crops in the middle of winter is doing really well. We're already harvesting the Cocozel zucchini and some beans from here. The butternut pumpkin is starting to fruit, but there are loads of cucumber fly around, so I would be surprised if these actually set fruit. The fence wicking bed is so full of plants and it's drying out so quick. Either that or we've sprung a leak. This one is lined with a pond liner, and rats getting under and eating could definitely be a possibility. So I have to increase filling the reservoir more often because I am getting a little bit of blossom end rot on these pumpkins, and it's usually due to uneven watering, which is likely to be the case as I've really needed to top up the reservoir a bit more often. A little update on the lacewings I bought. I actually haven't seen any around the garden at all, but the orange tree does not have any leaf miner this year, so perhaps they silently did their job. I'm due to get a new bait for the fruit fly station as well, so I need to do that soon as the tomatoes are just starting to form. I'm moving the soil out of these two beds as I'm no longer going to bother planting in here due to the tree roots invading them. It's likely these will be either converted to wicking beds if I don't end up moving the aquaponics here. Some jobs I would really love to finish up this month include covering the ugly IBC beds and reapplying mulch on our pathways between our garden beds to suppress the weeds. Our fruit salad tree has only set one nectarine, a couple of peaches and a few plums. I'm actually tempted to pull the net off the tree and just bag the individual fruit. We are so sick of mulberries. I've been getting the odd blueberry and the pawpaw is still there. The pomegranate is flowering and I've been threatening its life as it has not given us any fruit and is probably getting close to 10 years old now. I've counted around 5 pineapples that are fruiting at the moment, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, that's a wrap of what's been growing in our subtropical Australian garden in late spring. Hopefully the birds stop swooping soon so I can get out in the garden a bit more without fearing my life. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys next time.